Welcome back to the Ferris Sports Update. I'm your host today, Harrison Watt, joined now by head coach of Ferris State men's and women's tennis, Mark Doren. And in the men's season, thanks for joining us today.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, as we take a look at this past weekend, split with two rivals. And let's start out with the first one with Northwood. I know you were really excited when I got that email about the results. What did you take away from that match? I know it was a close win, but more than just the results of it, what did you take away from that from a team standpoint?
It showed us what we could do. We had a very busy spring break with a high-level competition, and we knew coming back from that we'd learned a lot about ourselves, and it was our first experience back on court and in the conference to see how we do against our local talent. And I thought we competed well, and the result obviously was what we were looking for.
And you take a look at this roster, I mean, obviously Northwood's always going to be a good test with that rivalry. You've got some players that have been through a lot of wars into the NCAA tournament. You got some younger players as well. It's kind of an interesting mix. Tell us a little bit about your roster mix in terms of experience.
Yeah, I mean, we're led at the top by two seniors at my 1 and 2 singles who have been to the Final Four and lead by example. But, we're young at the bottom, but I think that they really showed some fight this weekend, even in a tough loss the next day. But I think that they're finding their feet and they're finding themselves and learning how to compete. Some of them are international students from other countries. And so, just learning how to adjust to, even hard courts compared to clay courts. It's quite the adjustment for them. But I think that our seniors and we have a couple other players that, have been to some national, tournaments, but I think they're leading and giving the best advice to our younger players and helping them, really learn.
Just take a look back at this match at Northwood. Get some highlights to roll here. Obviously, a win against Northwood. Always fun to win against a rival in conference play. And taking a look here at the highlights, what impressed you most about this match, maybe from an individual standpoint?
Yeah, I would say our doubles right away. The NCAA has changed the rules this year. This is our first year with a bunch of new rules in tennis. Doubles used to be played a pro set to 8. Now it's just a single set to 6, and there's no ad. So it really comes in big when we have some leaders at the top, some seniors that can, set the tone early. And, now it used to be you'd win 3 points if you won all 3 doubles. Now you get 1 point if you win 2 out of 3 doubles. So there's a lot of pressure on it now to get that doubles point. And I think we really started out strong.
You made the point that you are a younger team than you were a year ago. How excited as the coaches it make you to see that you're able to gut out a win against a rival, and it was tough, and you won, maybe not ugly, but at least gritty.
Yeah, I mean, and it's neat for the young people to see and hear the stories about how Northwood has been a powerhouse in the conference for 20, 30 years. And so they had that feeling coming in, and they get to, see the emotions from the seniors, and, the young players really, grasped, the task at hand and really, took it on.
As you take a look at the singles here, which matches ended up being key for you guys in the singles to take over against Northwood?
So I would say it was really our 2 singles. Nuruddin really came in strong. He knew that the player from Northwood was having a stellar season and that he would really have to bring his A game. And he really, really came out strong and very focused. He really brought it to his opponent and really wore him down. So, I mean, that was a big spot for us.
And of course, an older player, an example like that, it seemed like it probably just kind of rolled right through the team there after that.
It really did. I mean, once everyone kind of saw his match, him taking control, it just let everyone loosen up a little. And, for the younger players, they were a little tight, but, watching him really succeed, and he shows a lot of emotion on the court, and it can be felt by all the other players, even when they're in the middle of their points. They can feel Dimmer's, leadership and excitement.
Moving forward, it was a loss to Grand Valley State, and I know that's always tough against a rival like that, but as we look at the highlights of this one, what changed between the match against Northwood and the match against Grand Valley?
I wouldn't say a lot changed. I would just say that, it was one of those matches that, everyone brings their best versus Ferris, and we had a couple hiccups, but we still fought really, really hard. It's a learning experience to be in those moments where, the match is on the line, and we have some of our players at the bottom of the lineup that, haven't been in that situation yet. And I feel that, because of this match, if we were to play them again in the conference championships, I feel really strongly that, we would be the favorite in that because we went through it, we felt it, and now we know, what adjustments we need to make.
And obviously a team that's been through a lot in terms of going deep into the postseason with you guys. You've seen Grand Valley a lot in the postseason, and now you're younger. How much do you lean on your older players to kind of teach the younger players after a match like this to pick it back up and get back in the court and work hard for the next one?
Yeah, I mean, I talk to my seniors quite often about their role, as leaders and mentors to our younger players, but also just, how they react. Yesterday in the van ride back, I was very impressed with, the spirits were high. A lot of talk about, the next time we play them or the next match that we can really focus on things to do. So I think that they've really, taken on the role of leadership and understanding, that they bring something to the table that can really affect these younger players, not just now, but in the future.
What did you take away from that match that you guys still have to work on a little bit?
Closing out matches. It's just like any other sport. Once it gets down to the crunch time, the ability to have the mental, strength to fight through. And I think that that's something that, excuse me, that they know is there, but it's the first time really experiencing it, and I think that they'll grow from that.
As you take a look forward here in the GLIAC schedule, it never gets any easier in the GLIAC, and it's a tough conference. You get right back to work. You've got a home match against Ashland coming up, and I think that might be good for your guys in terms of, okay, we got to get right back at it right away. What do you think about this upcoming weekend?
Oh, this upcoming weekend is huge for us, and we're excited to start with Ashland. Ashland, it's their first year having a tennis team, men's tennis team, and it's first year in the conference, obviously. And I think my players are taking a great attitude towards it, not that, because they're new that they're not going to be as strong. They're actually a very strong team, and everyone's very, very focused and not looking past Ashland to Wayne, who is, probably, at the beginning of the season thought to be one of the top teams in the conference. But they're really focused on Ashland, and I appreciate that in it. I think that it's going to help us on Sunday to be so focused on Saturday.
As you go through the process of a regular season, you see your team grow a little bit. Where's your team come the furthest in terms of when you took them over?
Yeah, I think just team chemistry. It's tough because we are a sport that's very individualized. You play your spot, and you win, and someone else might lose. And for the hour and a half you're on the court, you're by yourself. But I feel that our team chemistry to learn to be that they play for everybody. Their match makes a difference in how the team does, and I think that that's really been something that as the fall semester ended and the spring semester started, that they really started to come together more. It is tougher when we have players from all over the world, and so a lot of different cultures, and they've had a couple different coaches in the last couple of years. So being able to try to get that to come together and have them be a team has really, really set us on the right path for success the rest of the year.
Well, first year head coach, and you get a win against a rival. Looking for another big win this weekend or two. And Coach, thanks for joining us here on the Ferris Sports Update.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
When we come back, we'll talk to Ferris State softball head coach Kristen James.